There was earlier this morning apparently a raid by ICE here at a business called Ambiance.
Okay, this is getting very bad. As I make this video, there are currently 800 plus protesters that have breached a federal building and are assaulting Homeland Security officers and other federal officers in LA. And according to Homeland Security, local police have not responded to the scene, so federal agents are on their own. Now, like we always do on this channel, let's work together and look into the raw footage because it's rather intense. But before we start, please like the video. It's the #1 way you can help this channel, and it helps others see the videos as well so they can be informed. Let's begin.
There was earlier this morning apparently a raid by ICE here at a business called Ambiance. Then a crowd started forming outside the perimeter. They started actually surrounding these buildings.
We have a piece of video. You can see that they've gotten the people and they put them in these vans. It was a very strange sight to see because they started to leave and there were people who were protesting trying to keep these vans from getting out. And the video seen here is deeply troubling because these officers, look, there's that person in front. And the officers did not stop, these agents or whatever federal authorities they were. And notice how this person continued to stay in front. And the officer did not slow. No officer came out and tried to get this out. And then watch.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Basically, Homeland Security, they were doing their deportation raids when all of a sudden, protesters started to gather. Now, one protester got in front of one of these vehicles carrying illegal immigrants, and I can't show you the full clip, but he eventually fell down. Now, he didn't get run over. The person in the vehicle pulled around him, but that was enough to get protesters going.
I'm coming out of you motherfuckers. Your own fucking people. Piece of shit. Your mom should be really happy, huh? When you do for a fucking living. Take that piece of shit. Pinches vendidos.
I'm just gonna hit behind that mask and your tattoos out. Now they're all gonna know.
What part of the gang you from?
Let's see your tattoos. Bitch, because your tattoos out.
Now, at this point, protesters just simply followed the white vehicles and led them to this federal building where protesters started to antagonize federal agents, but even worse, it basically turned into a clash. Now, just to clarify, that is less than lethal ammunition. Regardless, we can see in this next clip how intense it's getting between these protesters and Homeland Security and other federal agents. Now, before we continue, make sure to please subscribe to my channel. This is what we do on this channel. We cover all of these type of events, and we make sure to hold our elected officials accountable. Make sure to subscribe for more updates. So basically, as federal agents were trying to prevent a breach into the federal building, you had protesters just straight up vandalizing the entire federal building, knocking out these protection barriers, and also, as I slide over, there is graffiti all over the wall. Now, Homeland Security also posted these pictures. Their vehicles have been vandalized. Right here, you can see F-ICE. and also right here, the B word and F ICE on a lot of their vehicles and throughout this federal building. Now, as I was making this video, it looks like LAPD has showed up. I do want to mention, remember, Homeland Security and other federal agents, they were dealing with this situation on their own. LAPD is not really supposed to work with ICE in really any capacity since they are in a sanctuary city, but it looks like here, LAPD is helping with riot control. Now, the mayor of LA is getting a ton of heat right now. Leave your comments down below how you feel about this statement. This morning, we received reports of federal immigration enforcement actions in multiple locations in LA. As mayor of a proud city of immigrants who contribute to our city in so many ways, I am deeply angered by what has taken place. These tactics sow terror in our communities and disrupt basic principles of safety in our city. My office is in close coordination with immigration rights community organizations. We will not stand for this. So the Trump administration and DHS is looking at this as an anti-sanctuary policy, but in a way that becomes a legit threat for DHS and other agents who work in these immigration practices as far as deportations and looking into criminal activity in the LA area.
Do you think they're still bringing more people out? Is that what they're setting up for here?
I think they're just trying to get the rest of the agents out. This is mostly FBI at this point that are here, and they were probably collecting additional evidence from inside and just making sure that all their agents were out of the building before they disperse. So we are seeing a couple more agents that are making their way out of the building. As far as people that are being taken into custody, I believe for the most part, the people that they were targeting inside the building have been taken into custody and were taken away in those vans, and now it's just a matter of the remainder of the investigators and agents to leave the location. So, and that's what we're seeing here. They're starting to kind of wrap things up here. So I feel that this is going to basically wrap up here within the next several minutes, and ultimately we'll see the crowd kind of disperse, but it's just a matter of whether they are going to.
Now, I do want to circle back to the beginning of the story. I forgot to mention this. This area right here was being portrayed that ICE was being captured by the owner of this facility. That is simply not true. Basically, ICE enclosed themselves in this facility to make sure protesters were not assaulting any federal agents. So I just want to point that out. When this story was first being reported, I was initially going to jump on it, but I waited because in this middle section, you had all of these Homeland Security officers and the gate was closed, and it appeared as if they were captured or they couldn't escape. That's a very important part of the story because, as you heard, the protesters were all gathering. However, they never dispersed. They dispersed on the federal building to start vandalizing and start assaulting Homeland Security officers.
When I say immigrant, you
Now again, this is all coming in as I make this video. I have no idea how these protesters organize so fast. I have no idea how everybody has these signs, how they all met up, how the truck is ready, the banner is ready. No idea. If I find out some information, I will let you guys know. But again, these are obviously anti-ICE protests, keep ICE out of LA. And like I've always been saying on this channel, this is going to become a norm in the United States, especially in sanctuary cities and states that are very anti these deportations. We're going to see some more of these clashes because we have not seen anything like this before with the mass deportations going on around the United States, specifically in sanctuary cities.
Sell up your family.
Okay, so this is a good place to stop. It looks like the federal building has been somewhat secure for now. However, this is the first time this is happening, and I think it's going to be one of many, considering how fast protesters were able to assemble on the ICE officers and the federal building. And these protesters are not afraid. Now, I do want to mention you also had peaceful protesters. Not everybody was bad. However, I do think this is going to become a norm, especially in LA. We already saw it in San Diego in a very bad way. And if we have a mayor who's saying we're not going to cooperate with Homeland Security, and this is what we're seeing already, I don't think this is going to be a good situation. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. God bless, and we'll see you all later.